Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my week number 14 injury roundup for fantasy football in 2021. Inside today's video, I'll be breaking down all of the notable injury news, as well as discussing how this news could relate to your fantasy football team and how you could potentially pivot off of this injury news. But before we could get on into things, I would like to ask, if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you do hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, we put out content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 fantasy football championship. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you do hit that like button down below. It would help us out a ton. And if you would like to follow me on Twitter, please do so at Notorious FNTSY. So without further ado, let's get into my week number 14 injury roundup. Of note, I believe this is the most notable injury news on the week, and that is that Keenan Allen has been ruled out up against the Giants, and Mike Williams is on track to play. With Keenan Allen out, this does increase the upside for both Austin Ekeler and Mike Williams, obviously, as long as Mike Williams does end up playing in this game. If he does end up playing, I believe that he could easily be a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football this week, maybe even a top 5 wide receiver, because now it is clear that he is the number 1 wide receiver on the team without Keenan Allen, obviously, assuming that he plays. Earlier on in the season, Mike Williams was a dominant force in terms of fantasy football. This guy was putting up huge numbers game in and game out, but as of recently, he has kind of fallen out of favor with fantasy football managers because he hasn't been putting up that same production, because the team has kind of faded away from Mike Williams as a whole. But I believe this week, there is no way that they could fade away from Mike Williams, because he's the lead receiver without Keenan Allen. So I love the upside of Mike Williams this week, as long as he does end up playing. Austin Ekeler is currently ranked as my number 1 running back on the week, but I'm also very confident in him if we were in an alternate reality where Keenan Allen was playing in this game, because Austin Eckler's upside game in and game out is just so high, because he is so good at catching passes. All you got to do if you're the Chargers is just give the ball to Austin Ekeler, and the guy's going to have a great game. So I love him this week up against the Giants, and this does, in my opinion, slightly upgrade Jared Cook. Now, is he a guy that I'm locked and loaded in playing this week? No, because Donald Parham is still there to potentially steal the touchdown equity away from Jared Cook. But I think if you are in a really bad situation, if you are down tremendous at tight end, this is the week where I would be fine starting Jared Cook. Next injury news of note here is Julio Jones being activated from the IR and is expected to play this week up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jones was able to practice fully this week, and this is a very good matchup. But even with that said, Jones has just not done anything this season to make me comfortable starting him up against a sorry Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Even without A.J. Brown in this game, he should be fine as a wide receiver 3, as a deep league flex, but he is not a guy that I would heavily rely on, a guy that I would kind of, like Baker Mayfield in that game in college where he put the flag into the ground, asserting that he was, they won the game, right? Putting some real strong take into this. I just don't think I could do that. I don't think I could be fully comfortable starting Julio Jones. I understand that the skill is still in him, that he could still pop off up against the Jaguars. That could happen, but my confidence in him just isn't all that high. I'm fine playing him, again, in a deeper league, but in a majority of leagues, if you're in like a 10-man league, you shouldn't be looking anywhere near Julio Jones. The next injury news to discuss is David Njoku and Harrison Bryant have both been ruled out up against the Baltimore Ravens. This leads to a big bump to Austin Hooper in this game, as he is now the clear lead tight end on the team. Normally, with how much the Browns cycle around the tight ends, it has been damn near impossible to start Austin Hooper, because you know that he is the best tight end on the team. But out of nowhere, maybe Harrison Bryant appears in the game and ends up vulturing a touchdown, or maybe David Njoku does the same thing. But now, without that being a possibility this week, Austin Hooper has the upside to be a top 5 tight end, because we have seen that Baker Mayfield does really like to throw to the tight end position. Now, would I tell you that it's a lock he's going to finish inside the top 5? No, but I think the upside is certainly there. The only kind of downside to Austin Hooper is that I do believe this is going to be a very messy game. And both teams are going to look to run the rock aggressively in this matchup. The next injury news to dissect is that DeAndre Swift and Jamaal Williams have both been ruled out for the Detroit Lions up against the Denver Broncos. Now we'll see a backfield of Jamar Chase and Godwin Ikwebuki. If I said his name wrong, I genuinely apologize. So unless you are in a tremendous, a astronomically terrible situation, then you should just turn the other cheek. Just don't look towards DeAndre Swift or Jamaal Williams as backups in this game. I just don't like either of them. I think this could be a true 50-50 share, and when neither of them are really all that good, you should probably just stay away from this situation. But before we could break down the next bit of injury news, I would like to let you guys know that we have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NFL season to bring you guys some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you guys 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo, sign up for an account via the link down below, deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest, and we'll reach out to you via email with your coupon. If you would like immediate access, that's okay as well. All you got to do is email support@awesemo.com, and we will get you set up immediately. You can also claim a free $10 down below by clicking the link in the video description, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest, including the $1 million NFL Baller. Make sure to use our DFS tools and projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give you guys the best shot at winning big. Back on into it, we move to Tony Pollard having a foot injury and is questionable for week number 14 up against the Washington football team. Now, this running back group of Pollard and Zeke has been so confusing over the last couple of weeks because it is very clear to everyone that Ezekiel Elliott is clearly hurt and needs to be put on ice, and they could bench him for a couple of games, right? And then he's going to be spry. He's going to be ready to go for their playoff push. Or maybe they just hold him out until the playoffs. And then it is what it is. You play him then, right? But for some reason, they keep rolling him out there, and he's still getting enough touches. The problem is he just hasn't been all that productive. So if Tony Pollard plays in this game, then I am going to be a little bit nervous about Zeke. And I think that should be rightfully so, as we've seen Tony Pollard get a little bit more increased workload every single week. But if he ends up missing, then I'm still going to be very confident in Zeke, even with him being clearly banged up, because he's going to be seeing a lot of the carries. And I think Zeke, even at 80-90%, could still have a huge game up against the Washington football team. And that is something that I would like to follow up until Sunday. So make sure you guys pay attention to the Tony Pollard news. Next up, we got Deebo Samuel. Reports are kind of pointing towards that he has a chance to play in this game up against the Bengals, as he is being listed as questionable right now. If he plays, I'm going to play him with 100% confidence. Now, would I rank him as a top 5 receiver if he was healthy? 100%. But with him being a little bit banged up coming into the game, I'd probably rank him as like a top 24 receiver, but I'm still going to play him. If he misses, then I am going to be very excited about Ayuk, and if he does play, then Ayuk is going to move down the rankings. This has virtually no effect, on my opinion, on George Kittle. You're going to lock and load that guy to play in your lineup every single week, even if Deebo, Ayuk, all the guys are healthy. You're going to play George Kittle. Speaking of this game, Elijah Mitchell is out up against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that will make you want to move Jeff Wilson up your rankings, but this will still be a committee with Jermichael Hasty and Jeff Wilson. I would be way more confident, far more confident in playing Jeff Wilson, though, as in my opinion, he does have top 5 upside. But he is also nowhere near as good as Elijah Mitchell. The reason why I like Jeff Wilson so much is because Kyle Shanahan just has this laundry list of running backs that have just filled in for injuries and played so well. So I think the situation is great for Jeff Wilson, and that is why I would tell you to start him this week, especially if you had Elijah Mitchell. And the final injury news to discuss, it is technically under one heading, but there's a couple of injuries to discuss in the same game, and that is Mike Glennon will be starting up against the Chargers, which is cool and all, right? Oh, Mike Glennon's playing. But in reality, Kadarius Toney is out. Sterling Shepard is questionable. Kenny Golladay is questionable. The whole fucking team is banged up. I don't trust any of these guys besides Saquon Barkley. And even with Saquon Barkley, my trust is just dwindling. It is coming down and down and down even further every single week. Why is this motherfucker not getting the ball more? I don't understand. Last week up against the Dolphins, he attempted a 360 hurdle, and it worked. He got the first down. But man, oh man, have we seen the burst out of Barkley? But we just have not seen that burst consistently because he's not getting the ball as much as he should. So with Barkley, I'm still going to play him, but I'm not as confident in him. So let me know down below in the comment section if you guys have any questions, or if maybe there was some injury news that I didn't touch upon that you have questions about. Please make sure to ask down below in the comment section. I love you guys all so much. Please make sure that you check out Yahoo Fantasy, link down below in the description. I love you guys all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. As always, goodbye.